Hey, what's up, everyone? We're here with Leon. He's going to take us on a tour of his 2000 E-250 Ford Econoline. And yeah, let's do it.
All right. I've got to replace this. That just broke.
Outdoor shower here?
Yeah, and then I've got a fold-out shower, which I almost never use because I'm usually somewhere like this.
Yeah.
And
So this just kind of folds out almost like an awning and kind of swings around.
Yeah, it turns it. Well, it actually comes out right here and just turns into a big square.
Okay. And then
It folds out like this and folds out like this, and then it's got a curtain that goes all the way down, and then this hangs over the side of it, and it's got little pockets and stuff in there.
Oh, I see how this is kind of shaped like an L,
Yeah.
or a 7 or whatever, so it can latch onto that.
Well, and there's actually a bracket in here that clips on the top of that frame, and then that clips in it.
Let's see that. Let me see that. So that clips on the frame of the shower.
Yeah.
Then you clip this.
I just made that out of two broom hooks.
You made that?
Yeah. I just bolted two broom hooks together.
Oh, okay, nice.
And that's my water heater right there.
Yep.
But then so it's got the airbag suspension.
Yep.
So this is, you can only drive it at one height. You have to have it aligned for that particular height, or the alignment's off. But when I'm off-road, the alignment doesn't matter. You're only going like 5 miles an hour. So I can raise it up another 6 or 8 inches if I need to get over deep water or anything. And then I've got air tanks on the roof. I've got 640,000 lumens of LED light bars. So they're all the way around on all 4 sides. And I've got air tanks on the roof for the airbags and the locking differentials and all of that stuff. There's 2 more air tanks under the van.
With those airbags, can you use them to level out the camper?
Yeah.
As you get
I used to all the time, but now I just try to get as level as I can. And when I show you the inside, the way the bed goes side to side, so I've got everything set up where I can sleep either way. I can hang my screen on either side.
Yeah.
So whatever side is the high side, that's where I put my head.
Okay.
Then I've got a 12,000-pound winch on the front and a 12,000-pound winch on the back.
Land Rover Offender.
Yeah, so I went to that other show I was telling you I went to where that girl did the interview.
Yeah.
It was the Land Rover put that on, and
okay.
Land Rover makes a Defender. So,
yeah, exactly.
So I put that on there.
That's funny.
And they all got a good laugh out of that.
So this just opens up then. Kind of folds out into a counter space.
Yeah, this is my pantry.
Nice. Soft close.
Yeah. And this is a microwave convection oven air fryer, which I've rarely used, but it does come in handy when I want to use it. Yeah.
You got the phone charging and everything.
Yeah.
It's a pressure
This is what I finish my pork shoulders in.
Okay.
Because you just smoke, you do the first smoking, and then you usually wrap them and you put them in the oven or something, and I do it in there, and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah. The blender's going and everything.
Yeah, that's for smoothies.
Cool. And then you have the oven too.
Yeah, that's the stovetop oven that you can put on top of the stove here. And actually what I use that for more than anything, I do bake with it sometimes, but more than like if I'm cooking breakfast and you cook the first thing, you put it in the oven, you cook something else, you put it that way when you go to eat it, you got 2 plates in there, and it's not the first thing you cooked isn't cold.
Yeah. What's like your go-to dish that you cook here? Pork shoulder?
Yeah, there's a couple of dishes that I cook. I cook this amazing chicken dish that actually somebody told me about not too long ago with soy sauce and that coconut milk.
Okay.
And you just put the chicken and the soy sauce in. I mean, you put the brown the chicken, and then you put the soy sauce and the coconut milk in there, and you just let it simmer for like an hour, and you put rice in there, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good.
This is like
It's
the
good.
perfect height for me.
Good
too.
outdoor food.
I like a good tall.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Yeah.
instead of having to lean down here, I'm pretty tall, so
Yeah.
having it up here is nice.
Yeah, I've had some complaints from shorter people, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
but yeah, and because of the tires, and I've got lights everywhere, so I can see at night.
Yeah, I did notice that last night.
Yeah, all the way around, all the compartments have lights in them.
That's sweet.
But Oh, the other thing we didn't talk about is the rear steer.
Yeah.
If you look under here, you can see all the mechanism for the rear steer. That axle actually is a front axle out of a 1955 F100 pickup truck. And I inverted it for ground clearance and then converted it to disc brakes and built all the hydraulics so that I could steer it. One of those cylinders actually locks it as a backup. Yeah, that's the lock cylinder. The other one is the one that steers it. But when I disengage that, it just locks that cylinder in case a hose breaks on the other one. I was always concerned that that thing would go crazy and wipe out a bunch of cars or something. Yeah. But it comes in handy when you're off-road.
So you just have a little joystick up front.
Yeah, I'll show you. There's a little joystick on the armrest here. I power it up over there, and then this it's off right now, but that just steers it right to left.
Nice. That's really cool.
I've got plastic over the carpet in here, so you don't really have to worry about your shoes.
Okay.
But yeah, throw that pillow over there under the seat.
Oh, so you can flip these around.
Yeah, they both spin around actually. And that's what I was telling you guys last night. I didn't turn this one around. It's a little bit more, I've got my camera and everything hanging on it. But this frame connects the part that that's actually holding you, the 4-point harness. This connects to the frame of the van up here and to the frame of the van on the bottom. So it gives it a lot of strength and stability. And then the table is permanent. So, but if you turn that around, then you've got a whole little conversation area right here. Yeah,
living room, if you will.
And then I've got a fireplace. It's actually just a buddy heater, and I've got a diesel heater. So there's a diesel heater under the bed. Okay. This, where you see that quilt thing right there, is that's the back. That's where the fridge usually is. That's just to insulate it when the fridge is in the other position. Okay. But normally you would be seeing the front of the fridge right there.
Nice.
When I'm in driving mode.
And another microwave. Do you use that one often?
I do use that one every once in a while, like for a late night meal. Yeah, There's actually a stove under this bar. Okay. And it's funny, so I built this bar. I don't even drink. My niece's husband, I went to visit them, and her husband's a liquor buyer. And he had this amazing bar, and I'm like, that just looks cool and manly. I want a bar. And all my friends are like, why do you have a bar? You don't drink. And I keep saying I'm going to start, but I haven't yet. Yeah. It's a goal.
Tell us about the shower there.
Okay, so anyway, this is the shower. Yeah. This hoop right here folds up.
Can you fold it up right now, or is it
Yeah, no, I can. I haven't. I think I know how to do it. I never use this thing.
Yeah. That's how ours is. We got an indoor shower, but it's like...
Yeah. So this folds up. And this is something that I keep saying I'm going to make a better version of, but that works. It works. And then this folds down as a...
like a shower pan?
Yeah, and it's actually the bathroom also, which I've never used. And it's just like everything else, it has to be storage also. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How does it drain?
So it drains into, there's a low spot designed right here, and there's a bilge pump right there.
Okay.
So when it goes into that low spot, the bilge pump pumps it out.
Okay. And so if you're in like an unlevel spot or whatever, it'll start kind of...
If it's really unlevel, it'll stay over there. Yeah. And then the glory of that is you just pick this up a little bit. Oh. That wasn't actually part of the design. But the first time that happened, I was like, oh, that's easy.
That's how it works.
And then it dumps it into the sump right there and pumps it out.
That's awesome.
And I don't have a gray tank. Everything goes on the ground. And if I've never been anywhere where you can't put it on the ground, but if I was, I'd just put a folding bucket under there or something. Yeah. I have a black tank for the toilet, but I don't have a gray tank.
Nice.
But yeah.
It seems pretty easy to set up.
Yeah, it's everything. I was trying to make it as quick and simple as possible. Yeah. I mean, the best engineering is simplicity.
Yes, sir.
But and then with the trailer, I kind of wanted everything to where I didn't want a bunch of setup time. So basically, I can pull up in the middle of the forest, put this thing in park, and in 10 minutes I'm cooking.
Yeah.
and which is kind of my favorite thing to do outside is cook.
Yeah.
Just you know, I don't know why food tastes so much better out in the wilderness, but
I
it
think
does.
It does. It's true. Very true.
But anyway, yeah, and then the bed is kind of small. It's I can stretch out from side to side completely if I put my feet up in the windowsill. But basically, I used the economy of space based on how much time I was going to spend there, you know. And all I do is sleep there. Everything else you do outside. So, so it's not, you know, it's a little bit. You have to like someone to have them in there with you. But
Yeah.
I don't usually take people camping I don't like. So
Yeah. You got a little hatch too above the bed.
yeah, so that's where the AC was.
Okay.
And I just that's a boat hatch off of like the bow of a boat.
So it'll open up.
Yeah, it opens up.
That's sweet.
And it's nice. You can sit there and look at the stars and stuff. But yeah.
I'm pretty tall and I fit in here. I mean, I can't
you stand up?
quite straight.
You can't?
But
Okay.
right here
Oh,
I
yeah.
can. You
Yeah.
know. It's
Yeah.
sweet. But I could do it in here. I feel like, you know, like it's not too tall.
No, it's not. It's not
I mean,
where
it's not
you're
too short.
Right. You just stand in the middle of the and that's the thing with this shower. You know, this shower takes up 4 inches of space on the wall, but it's a full 36-inch shower. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same
Oh,
size
yeah.
as a shower in your house.
Yeah.
So, it's yeah, it's most of the designs worked out pretty good. Oh, and so this is my sink, and it's here so that you can see out the window, but then it's on a coffee table lift. So if you want it higher, you can actually lift it up.
That's sick.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't ever do that either, actually.
I was not expecting that. That was
Well,
the last thing I was expecting.
Because the reason this is kind of one of the pieces of my design that didn't work out, because when I started this build, it was going to be kind of like a, you know, the I can't think of the name of that company that makes these 4-wheel drive vans, and they just have like 33-inch or 35-inch tires.
Mm-hmm.
So my idea was this cabinet is connected to that door. And so the idea was that when you were outside, you would swing this door out, and then you would use this sink outside as well.
Okay.
But then when I got so stupid with the tires and the lift, it's
Yep.
too high, you can't reach it. So
It's still cool though.
yeah, it pretty much just stays down.
So you could do the dishes standing up.
You could, yeah.
As well as sitting down. Do you do the dishes outside?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just brush my teeth in
The
here.
Yeah.
sink out here is cool.
Yeah.
All makeshift.
Nice. That's one of those. Oh, that's one of those collapsible.
Yeah,
things.
yeah, those things are amazing. You can get dishes. I mean, you can get
Yeah.
pots that you can cook in like that.
Yeah.
I don't have any of them, but you can. Yeah,
What about the wood? The wood trim here.
yeah. So all this is Shou Sugi Ban. It's a Japanese finish, and they actually use it for like pressure treating to keep wood from rotting and stuff. But and when they do it, it's a lot more char than this. But basically, you piece all this stuff in. It's called a pallet wall. So you're supposed to do it with old pallet wood, but I didn't want something rough that I couldn't clean. So you piece all this stuff in to where it fits, and then you number it, and you number the wall, and you take it all out, and you set it all on fire, and then sand it down. And then when you stain it, that's what makes that grain pop out like that.
Nice.
So
So you have that kind of throughout,
pretty much, yeah.
wherever you can. put it.
Wherever there was, yeah. And then the cabinets are all trimmed in the same kind of finish that have all been set on fire.
I love how cohesive everything is too. Like,
The way it,
yeah, you've done it really thoughtfully.
yeah. I
Like,
tried to make
interior
it.
design.
Tried to make it. Yeah. I tried to make it have a little flow to it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I did it again, what I would change really.
You got to tell us about the Sasquatch bumper and the zombie.
Oh yeah, okay.
You gotta tell us about
So those are for all my lights that go around the outside of the van, and they just
it.
when
Sit
I,
there and tell me.
okay, when I was looking for when I was ordering switches, they had all these crazy names on them. So I was like, I have to have a zombie light and a Sasquatch light. This is for the rear, those ditch lights on the side I was telling you about, and these are for the right and left up on the top on the sides. That one. Oh, that one goes to the fog light that's not there. It's actually hanging in the trailer for when I need it, but it just bolts on with some wing nuts down there, and then the front ones, and then the rear.
Yeah.
This is all my controls for my locking differentials, my air compressor, These two controls right here were supposed to be, so I've got my airbags on a 4-corner system. Some people put them on a front system and a back system, but when you do that, you have a lot of sway. But that's actually, having that flexibility is advantageous off-road. So this switch is designed to link those two together. However, it's all wired down there, but I've never put the valves in. And I've never really needed it in any off-road situation, so I don't know that I will put them in, but that's what it was supposed to be for, one for the rear and one for the front.
Yeah.
And then this is the Tesla dash. The top one is for off-road navigation, and the bottom one is for the sound system.
Okay.
Well, they both will do either, really, but...
Oh, the sound system, I remember you showed us last
Yeah.
Sick.
that thing was
The light show
I don't know if that would trend.
Yeah.
But same song.
This is where beach boats.
Let's go. It's cooler inside. We didn't really get inside.
Yeah.
It's all over in here.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And if the windows are open, it goes all outside. So like when we're on the beach, it's shining out on the beach and everything.
How long did this take you?
A year, 2 years to build the van. I did a year on the inside because I tore everything out of here, and then a year on the suspension, and then it took me 6 months to build the trailer. And that was pretty much full time because I'm retired. It was 8 or 10 hours a day.
But it's kind of continual, I'm assuming. Like
It's still going. There's still some stuff. I've got some trim that needs to go right here. There's 2 more cameras I want to put on here. I want to put there's a camera under the bottom. When you fold this screen down, it won't come on without the car on. But anyway,
cameras like.
so there's a camera under the bottom and the front facing that way, so I can see all the suspension. There's a camera in the back facing this way, so that so if I'm climbing over stuff off road, I don't have to have someone spot me. And then I have the same thing on the roof. There's a camera up there facing backwards and a camera in the back facing forward.
That's sweet.
And that way I can, if I try to go through a drive-through, which you can't do, but if I'm trying to pull through something at a hotel or something, I don't have to get out and look. I can see that it's going to clear.
A lot of cameras and a lot of lights.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've noticed.
Yeah, can you tell? I'm kind of a gadget nerd.
Vision is important.
Yeah. There's 2 more cameras I have that I would like to put way up here on the top in the front corners. The side go all the way down both sides because it's got a really bad blind spot, even with those big mirrors. You really have to move your head all around to make sure you're not going to run over someone because you can't see them down there.
What made you decide to do it?
Boredom, maybe, being retired. I like camping. I've always liked camping, but I didn't like all that. So for years and years, I've always had like a ginormous duffel bag with all of my camping stuff in it, including a list of all the groceries you need, everything that was consumable that wasn't in there. So because down here, it's not like up there where you'll have good weather all the time. When we have a good weather, it just happens, and you're like, okay, this is perfect. This is the only time you can camp. With this, you got air conditioning and stuff, so it's different. But with a tent, it's the small window here and there. And so I would just grab that bag and go. And so kind of set this whole thing up on that same concept where it's ready to go. When I get home, the first thing I'll do is clean everything out, restock everything that's not consumable, and fill all the water tanks, and then it's sitting in the garage, ready to go. So if the weather, you wake up and it's nice weather, boom, go camping. When I want to use those air conditioners, so this was a pull-out bed in the original design, and then in order for those air conditioners to breathe, there's a hatch out front. I'll show you when we go outside that you have to open, so that they can exhaust. That's actually 2 window units. I put that's one window unit, that's another window unit. The reason I put that wood up there is just so it didn't look like trailer
so the
trashy.
air conditioner's like right here.
That's an air conditioner, and that's
see.
an air conditioner.
Oh, show us the fridge, how it kind of goes in and out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I haven't seen that yet.
All right.
Oh, you got it all set up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, I should have taken that cover off the back, but that's all right. I just won't put it all the way in. So basically, you just put it back in there, and then you close this hatch, and all that sink and stuff folds up and goes on top of there and under here.
Wow.
And then the fridge is on the inside.
So it's closed when you're going down the road.
Yeah. It's an inside-outside fridge.
That's really cool. I think that might be one of a kind, actually.
Well, you know, I mean, when you think about it, like even those big RVs, those big fancy RVs, you know, they have a fridge inside, and they have an outdoor kitchen, they have an outdoor fridge, which means everywhere you go, you have to have 2 jars of mayonnaise, you have to have 2 of everything.
Yeah.
This one just brings everything with you, whether you want to go inside
point.
or outside.
That's a really good point. Wow. That's inside outside fridge is awesome. I like that.
And it's usually pretty full of stuff.
This sink's going off kind of like off a foot pump type of thing.
That's just a switch to save water.
Nice.
Because I'm limited. I've got 30 gallons of water. I've got a 30-gallon water tank here, and I've got a 30-gallon water tank in the trailer, which...
And that's limited to you?
Huh?
That's limited to you?
Well, no. I mean, I don't ever fill that. I don't ever use that
gallons.
one. But 30 gallons, I'm usually good for 4 days. That is one of the things I did wrong. That tank does not have a gauge on it, but it's coming out after this trip, and it's getting a gauge on it because I'm always having to guess, and then I'll go to fill it. And the other day, I thought it was probably getting empty after 4 days, and so I put a bucket under there, and I was just going to see how much water was left in it, and I opened it to drain it, and it ran forever.
So is this connected to the water tank?
This is so because of the fact that this sink is on this door, there was no way to make the plumbing, so that's for the drain. It's got a macerator pump, and so whenever you want to drain it, and it just pumps it underneath there.
Yep, cool.
Because it was just here, but then if you were standing here and someone turned it on, that wasn't good. While I was building the trailer, I wanted to camp with it, so I put this stove here. But the main purpose for this is to make the generator. It's full of dirt. But basically, in order to try to make a silent box for a generator, you want to put as many folds in the air path and the sound path as you can, because the air will go around the corners, but the sound won't as much. And so this puts a couple of twists in all of those paths when I close this. Okay. And this thing is pretty quiet. It's not quite as quiet as one of those little Honda generators, but it's pretty close. Yeah. But it's still a lot of noise when you're out here in the wilderness. So I don't. If I'm out here by myself and I'm going to ride my mountain bikes, or I'm going kayaking, or I'm going hiking or something, then I'll run it. Nice. If there's no sun, you know, to charge everything. But it doesn't get run that much.
Tell us about the tire. Those extra set of tires.
Okay, so this is the those are my spares.
Yeah.
Let me close this up so you can see.
Easy, quick and easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically these are my spares, which they're 6 inches off the ground. So if I need to take them off, they're not as like trying to get a 250-pound tire off the roof. But it also serves as a breakover axle, because there's a lot of distance between that axle and this axle. So when you're off-road, you stand a chance of high centering here. So the reason it's on a real axle is so that it can roll to bridge that gap. And they're on the ground quite a bit when I'm off-road.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Going over a rock or something, it looked like they'd hit it.
That too, they will. But you know, more than anything,
that's fine though. I mean,
if it's like a peak or something you're going over, I'd get stuck, you know, in here with that.
Getting high center.
And that keeps that from happening.
That's cool. These are external water tanks?
That's so this is a diesel tank for the diesel heater.
Oh yeah.
That's a diesel tank that came with the diesel heater, but that is like 2 days.
Yeah, that's real small.
I mean, it doesn't use that thing uses a lot of diesel.
Not good.
And so this is a diesel tank. This is actually going to be a gas tank because my generator runs off the fuel tank. When I put the diesel engine in here, it won't. I'm gonna have to hook the generator to this. Okay. Because I don't really like the generator running off my fuel that gets me where I'm going. Yeah. So when I put the one for the diesel heater, I just went ahead and put 2. So that's for future plug-ins. Nice. Like I was telling you, this is the last trip on that motor. Yeah, yeah. And then it's going to get a diesel, and then we're going to go to the mountains and do some real camping.
I'm told you want. Let's get on that edge.
Yeah.
I like the. What's up with the sayings? You got a lot of sayings.
I'm just a smart ass. But this one, I read something like I put two sayings together. I didn't completely make that up myself. That one I did make up myself. The other ones, the one in the front, the one about the get on the hitch, someone told me about that when I was traveling. I'm like, yeah, I have to have that too. But the and then it says some crazy stuff on here too. This says I go where I'm towed to. And I made up all these corny names too.
So this is what you just came up with?
Yeah, Urban Escape Trailer. Yeah.
How much are they going for?
Yeah. There's no telling what that thing would cost when you start looking at those little.
Yeah, all the intricacies.
Yeah, and then I put this on here. So bigvanoverland.earth is actually a website. It doesn't take you anywhere except my Facebook because I've never done anything with it.
Okay.
And then I just made up that vehicle-based exploration unit because I thought it sounded cool.
It is. It's cool. It's really
cool. And yeah.
He's a beast, man.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it just got a little bit crazier and crazier as things went along.
But it doesn't seem crazy.
No, and it drives. I mean, if you could stand the sound of those tires, I mean, you can set the cruise control on 80 miles an hour on the interstate. Yeah. But you can't because you'll get a headache.
It'll be loud.
Yeah.
Real loud.
At about 60, at like 65, 70.
Yeah.
And I almost never drive on the interstate anyway. I mean, even in my real cars, there's nothing to see on the interstate. I'm always on the back roads. But
so is it an Econoline?
It's an Econoline 250. It's an E250, which was a 3/4 ton van chassis, but now it's got all the 1 ton running gear.
Yeah.
So
the suspension's upgraded, but like the body itself.
The body was an E250 Econoline.
What year is it?
At 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It isn't going to be quite as cool because I put this big on here. And then it's a gas van, so I wanted everybody to know that this was a big ass van. But that's not going to fly anymore when I put the diesel in there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's that. That's cool. Is that one's original? That Coachman van's up there.
That was the brand. Yeah, it was a Coachman camper, and they still make vans, and they make pull behind trailers and all kinds of RVs and stuff.
Cool.
But I don't think they inspected it to ever look like this.
What about, is this for like a flag or something? Going off road? What is?
This is, I can put an awning there, like an umbrella there.
Okay, yeah.
On both sides if I want to.
Nice.
And that little pulley thing, that's for the horns?
Yeah, but I'll have to run it for a minute to air it up because it probably doesn't have any air in it. No, it's really out of air.
So that was quiet.
Oh, that's quiet.
He needs one of those.
Yeah, it'll hurt your ears for sure.
Tell us about it too.
Yeah, so this is. I also have a full total gym right here.
Oh, nice.
You know the Chuck Norris total gym thing. Classic, yeah. So when I'm traveling, I don't have to. I'm 61 years old. I can't miss any workouts. Yeah. So I don't have to go to town and look for a gym and all of that stuff. It just pulls out, then you can set it up.
Yeah.
And it works. That's the best thing for this because you don't have to carry weight. Because you're the weight.
Yeah.
And I'll usually put it up on that ladder to get some extra. I had it set up on the beach over in Shire Island, and it was amazing.
Nice.
And then the bikes. So
you got the bikes.
Yeah. So this, unfortunately, you have to take this tank out and this heater out in order to pull the bikes out, and then this just bolts them down, and they're strapped all over the place, so they're sturdy when I'm off road.
Bikes and the surfboards in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the
so this whole thing's on just slides.
This is on slides. This one actually isn't. You just drag it out, and then you can separate the bikes once you get it out to a certain point.
Cool.
And so, yeah.
That's sweet.
And then I've got a hitch here. I've got a couple fat tire bikes too, but I didn't bring them on this trip.
Yeah.
But depending on where I'm going.
Nice.
I expected the four-wheeling to be a lot more extreme than it was on this trip, so I didn't really want the bikes banging around on the back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's a backup fridge that you can set as a fridge or a freezer, and usually I just keep it If I'm going on a long, when I left on this trip, it was full of food.
Yeah.
But then once I empty it, I turn it off
Cool.
because it's pretty taxing on the batteries with both of those fridges running and the AC and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to have so much electrical and,
Yeah.
and air
Yeah.
conditioning units and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean, this rig is
Well, everything
It's-
is
huge.
everything is redundant. Everything has there's two of
Backup.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two ACs. If one of them breaks, there's two stoves, there's two ovens, there's two of everything.
yeah. 2 bikes.
Yeah. Got a complete dual
kayaks.
Vire air
Yeah.
compressor system. Yeah.
That's sweet. All right. Sweet. Thanks for the tour, Leon.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Safe
I'm glad
travels.
you guys stopped by. Safe travels to you guys also.